No,
So let's talk about arrays.
because a router is just like the stuff behind the scenes. I think so.
Are you recording?
Yeah. So weird. Whenever I see someone explain arrays on any course, they somehow end up starting off with showing fruits.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
That's
the
true.
places, yeah.
Right. So can you tell me how to do a console log of all the elements of this array?
Console log.
Console log.
Fruits.
Console log.
Yeah, but I want 3 console logs. One for each fruit.
0,
0, 1, 2.
1.
Right? Like that? Cool. Done. Can you tell me a way to just write a single console log, but
Console
got
log dot fruits.
console log dot fruits?
Just
No, not dot fruits. No.
Can't you just put 1 and 2 on the same line as the top?
Well, like that?
No, like just no other bracket. Within the same bracket, comma 1 and comma 2.
Like that?
Yeah.
No.
Going to have the brackets, the fruits, open bracket, 0, close bracket, comma, then the same with the 1 and 2.
It's too long. No, you don't need that.
No, I meant
Right.
just with the,
Just the numbers.
just the numbers. So fruits, 0, comma, 1.
Like that?
Yeah, I think so.
No. No. We just got something weird. That's the apple. Okay, let me change the question. Please tell me a looping structure to display a console log of each fruit. You know that?
For
For-
I equals 0. Dot dot. Come on. Yeah, and then go I less than 4, or you can do less than 3. Yeah, and I am plus plus,
Right? And then what?
and then console dot log I.
Like that? No.
Like fruits.
Or fruits.
Like that? Okay. It works. So yeah, definitely. So we just had to type console log once. What happened then if I do that?
To change this
Condition. Dot 2.
Yeah, correct. You have to change the condition. But if I then add it again, I need to change it again, right? So every time you add or remove an element here, you are forced to change that. Can we simplify that? Is there a way to change the condition so we don't have to change it every time we add an element?
length.
Correct.
What? Instead of 3, just n.
End? Like that?
No, n. N from
N. And what's N?
I don't know.
Does it mean just continues
Second?
forever?
Forever.
Yeah, then that'll crash it.
Right,
Crash
so
it, it'll run through the loop forever.
So do you think it will run the loop forever? Yeah, I believe it will throw an exception because n doesn't exist, right? Here you go. Right? So n, what's n? N is nothing. So is there a way to get the length of the array, of the fruits array?
Yeah, do fruits dot length. Yeah.
Cool, lovely. So that means that if we now add something else here,
Yeah, now I'll pick it up each time.
cool, sweet. It works, right? I still got some concerns. I mean, this is okay. That's the fundamentals of arrays. However, I haven't used a for loop on the last 8 or 9 years because to me, I don't know. I need to type too much, and this is error prone because I have to remember to initialize the variable, to add this condition, to increment it. You know, it's okay. Don't get me wrong, it's okay. But let's try to find another way. Do you know any other structure to loop over arrays?
Yes.
Yes? You tell me?
Yes. You can say for.
For
Even, isn't it? With 4 end, or whatever you told me.
parentheses.
Parentheses, fruit. Of. No, fruit.
Fruit of
Of fruits. Then, yeah, then it is. Yes. Fruit, yes.
like that.
Yes.
All right. So this is very new, very, very, very new. This is ES7 or ES8. This is maybe 1 year old. Probably if you are using an old browser, this is not even supported. This is a new way to loop over arrays.
So what type of loop, what's that loop called?
So this is just ES6 loop.
There is an ES6.
Yeah, it's a new one. It's okay. I mean, we're checking out different ways of doing the same thing, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay. It's okay.
But where's the fruit come from?
So fruit is a
It can
new.
be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. Could be blah.
Okay.
Could be
but
anything.
You haven't defined that anywhere.
Yeah, this is implicitly defined now. So this is essentially taking the array of fruits and then is assigning every time,
To
into blah one item of the array sequentially, as you can see here. But doesn't matter what you type here. The important bit is of the array.
Can we put a breakpoint to see?
Yeah, of course we can put a breakpoint. Right. Here you go. So what's the value of blah? Apple. Here you go. Next iteration. Yeah. And so on. Correct. Yeah, expected. Okay. More strategies for array looping. What else do you know? For each. So how for each works? Yep. And then parentheses. Function. Yep. Curly bracket.
The function like item.
Item.
Or
Fruit.
fruit.
Right. And then
And also fruit.
fruit. Like that? Right. This is probably the most popular approach. You get the array, and then that means that for each element of the array, here we got the element. Right?
what's that? Say that again. So fruits dot for each.
For each. Yeah. Fruits dot for each. Correct.
For each element in fruits?
Yeah. Yeah. For each element in fruits, just take that element and just do whatever you want, like display it, right? Cool. Right. So you can see that this for each mechanism receives a callback function. This is called, we call callback function, and inside of the function we can do whatever you want with the fruit. With modern JavaScript, we can improve that a bit. So we can get rid of the function token. Did you ever hear about arrow functions in modern JavaScript?
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to leave that here just for referencing purposes. So I'm going to show you the new way.
Can I just ask? See on your fruits dot for each
Yep.
function, and then you got.
Yep.
Shouldn't you have closed that off with the function with another curly bracket?
Where?
See function, and then you've
Yep.
enclosed fruit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bit after that.
So
There.
you open the bracket here and you close it there.
All right.
Line
you
number
closed
5.
Function there,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Right. So I hope this is the same, right? So if I just run this example, we got the same result, right? we can even simplify this further. So for instance, we don't even need the parentheses. We can make it even simpler. The same thing. And we can even make it more simple. Look, we can make it in line, in a single line. That's it. It's all about the same thing.
Why is it thrown up undefined?
No, yeah. No, I know. No. Undefined is because the snippet returns undefined. In other words, if I comment everything, it will return undefined all the time. You see? Ignore the last undefined message. Yeah.
So see console.log is on the command to do the function.
Say it again.
Console.log, what does that mean?
Console log. Okay, right. So console log is a function that comes with JavaScript, so it means it's always available, that allows you to display messages on the console. So I can add a console log message on top. Right? I can say, right. Then you got the message. Yeah. Just for debugging purposes.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any question up until here? No? Right? Any other way to loop over arrays? Did you ever hear about map?
Yeah, I've heard the word. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, let's see if that works, first of all. Right? So, yeah. That's interesting. What's that? I don't know what's that. I mean, it's definitely displaying the 4 elements. Yeah. Okay, so there is a subtle difference between for each and map. They both are useful to iterate over arrays. The only difference is we should use for each whenever we want to modify the array. I'll give you a more complex example. Imagine that we got the following. Remember what we talked yesterday about having an array of objects? I'll remove that. I'm going to keep the same thing, but I'll change the structure a bit. I keep just 2 elements. So for each fruit, we want the, I don't know, the name. Yeah, and then we can have the color. Right? The same thing here. Something like that. So, how can we display the name of the fruits now? What do we need to change here to display the name of the fruits?
You'd go use dot notation.
Fruit dot name? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we know that, right? We learned that yesterday. Cool. That's good. So for each will be very useful whenever we want to modify this structure. I'm going to change that a bit. So let's guess that we want to show. I'm going to remove this console log for now. And I'm just going to add a console log at the end with the resulting array. So console log fruits. Right? As we are doing nothing, that should just return an array of 2 elements.
2 objects.
2 objects, correct. An array of 2 objects. The banana and the apples, right? However, imagine that because of whatever reason, we want to modify these objects. For instance, we want to add another property to each object, right? We want to add a property called size. Which one? Price. Okay, let's add the price. So we can do here fruit.price equals yeah. So if we do that, we are automatically adding a third property on each object of the array. We'll see in a second. Here you go. You see, we got the price on the first element, and we got the price on the second element. Does it make sense? Right? But then I'll give you another example. Imagine that we don't want to change the fruits array. We don't want to change it. We just want to copy it. We just want to have a new array with different information. So we cannot use for each. For each is just useful whenever we want to change the array. But if we want to copy the array into a new object, we can use map. So in other words, map, I'll show you, is returning a modified version of this array. So I can do something like that. Right? So now if I do fruit, right, so I can do fruit, fruit.price and then I can return fruit, right? So if we run this example, new fruits will be a new array containing the price. If I do the same with for each, this for each returns nothing. This returns nothing. So do you know what new fruits will be? No one? It is defined. I've defined it here. However, the value of new fruits will be whatever this returns. I say that for each returns nothing. So what will be the value of new fruits?
Undefined.
Undefined. You're right. Right? So then you see, when do we want to apply map? Whenever you want to create a copy of the array. And if the only thing you want to do is to change the existing array, then you use for each. Questions?
See if you want a different price for each item.
If you want a different price for each item. Okay, that's a good question. Right? That's a good question. Well, but where are we defining the prices? So, okay, right, let's say we will exercise. Imagine that we have a list of prices. So, yep, so there's 199 and this is 299. So we want the first element, the first object of our array to have this price. And we want the second object of the array to have this price. How will you do it?
Would it be 0?
0. So 0 means that. So what will be the price of the apple if we do that? Will be 199 or 299? Correct. That's not what we want, right? We want to change the price of the apple. I'll give you a hint about how to fix it. When we run any type of loop like map or for each, we can pass a second argument, which is the index. Do you know how to fix the problem now?
Put a 1.
Zero.
So Norbert is suggesting to replace 0 with the index. Let's add a breakpoint just to prove our theory. The first time, fruit is the first object, index is 0. Consequently, the price for the banana will be 199. Okay. On the second iteration of the loop, the fruit is the apple, and the index is 1. Consequently, the price will be, hopefully, 299. Does it make sense? You see? 199, 299. Questions?
So what does index do? What does that mean?
So index is telling you the number of the iteration. The first time, as we know that arrays start at index number 0, index will be 0. The second time, index will be 1. The third time, index will be 2.
So you're telling it to start from the beginning.
Sorry?
You're telling it to start from the beginning when you use.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when we use for each, we always start at 0.
Yeah. So if you had 1,000,
If you had 1,000, okay, yes, this will have.
that would suffice.
Yeah. Questions? No? You understood everything? So I would like to show you last bit for today, which is the most complex way of iterate over objects, over arrays, sorry, but at the same time it's the most powerful. So at some point you'll have to do complex stuff. So this is a fairly new thingy, but it's super useful. So I'm not going to expect you to understand everything of what I'm going to show now, but at least it's good that you heard about that. So if you're curious, you can investigate it further. So did you ever hear, I'm going to remove all these things, right, for now. Did you ever hear about something called reduce? Okay, let's do an example. Let's add the price to every fruit, statically, just to keep it simple. This is our basket, right? So we are buying at Tesco, right? And we are upset because we know that the delivery will be late again, but so we get rid of that, we add a comma, all these things, right? Yeah, cool, cheers. So, first of all, how can we show the list of prices? Console.log. Of what?
Well, you would have to do a loop first.
Okay, you tell me.
So you're going to, well, if you're going to do the for each.
For each, okay, so that's fruits.for each, right?
Yeah.
And then what?
And I can't remember the other bit, but it'll be like. Well, we need to enter the object and pull out the price. That's what we're trying to achieve.
I just want to display console log with one console log with 199, another console log with 299. That's all I want to do.
Would be price.
Price.
And then 1, 2. Sorry, 0, 1.
No. 2.
No, sorry, 0 and then
0. And then
brackets 2.
brackets 2.
Sorry, brackets 1.
Brackets 1.
That would be would be colour.
Colour.
That would be colour.
Any thought about that?
Position is 2.
The position is 2. What do you mean?
So in the array,
Yeah.
banana is 0, yellow is 1, and price is 2.
Right. I think we're mixing lots of different things here. I recommend you to watch the video again we did yesterday about arrays and objects because, yeah, no. So this doesn't make any sense directly. It doesn't make any sense because remember that for each receives a function, right? And as part of the function, we have each element of the array. We can call it fruit. So then, if that's fruit on the first iteration is this object, let's refresh what we learned yesterday. So how can I do a console log of just the price?
Fruit dot
Fruits,
price.
fruits,
No.
Fruit.
Just fruit.
yeah,
Dot price.
dot price. Yeah, I like that. So we got a reference to the object, and then we just want to show the price. It works. What if we want, let's remember, string literals interpolation. We want to do something like that. We want to display banana is $1.99. How can we display this message to make it more user-friendly?
Fruit dot name.
Fruit dot name
The plus
plus
quote one space. In the
But you can use a template literal. So
Yep.
just
Yeah,
put
you
it
can
in
use a template.
a dollar sign.
a dollar sign. We're
and,
here.
And then with the bracket.
Bracket. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I close it?
no,
Well, I don't know what you've done from the plus. We don't need any of that.
Okay. Let me move that.
but you have to use this the.
You need to put it with the back tick.
Backtick. Correct. You see, it changed the color automatically, which is good, right? Where do we close the bracket?
After the price.
After the price. And then what?
And, yeah, it's in the.
Backtick?
This one.
No,
It doesn't look correct, you see?
It's not
No,
connected.
it's one by one, like
One by one. Like that?
Yep, and
No,
yes, yeah.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what's the problem, Chris?
Well, because you only need one template literal, don't you? Because it's
Well, you got one template, you open the backtick and you close it just once
all right, yeah. But why you put $2 sign?
because you have two variables. Variable number one
All right,
and
okay.
variable number two.
All right, okay.
Alright, we can even add a colon here if you want. And you can add an exclamation mark and you can add an angry face because it is very expensive, right? And you can do lots of things.
Well, why is it fruit instead of fruits?
Yes, because this is the original array. But then we want to loop. That means that when we run for each, this will run several times. How many times this loop will run?
It's going to run twice.
Twice, correct, because we have two elements on the array, right? So for each iteration of the loop, fruit, in singular, will reference to each individual element of the array. So let's add a breakpoint. On the first iteration, fruit points to the banana, right? On the second iteration, fruit points to the apple. What will happen on the third iteration?
Undivided.
You just stop.
It will stop where? There will be no third iteration. I was just checking. Right? Just two iterations because we have two elements on the array. Right? But now, the question I got for you, and this will probably appear in one of the coding challenges, if not that, very similar, is I want to calculate the total because I want to go to the checkout and pay for it.
So if you set a variable with total,
Okay, I set a variable where?
I would do it above.
Before the for each.
Above the for each, okay.
Yeah.
Bar or let?
Of the let.
Let, okay.
Total
So right, total
Total
equals
0.
0, right?
Yeah.
And then what? Let's remove that. I'll display the total
Total.
afterwards, right? Right.
But then you have to.
Total equal total plus
Yeah.
fruit dot. But this price is string, so we cannot.
Right. Let's make it simple. Let's remove all the pound symbol, right? Yeah, let's play with numbers. 199 and 299. Simple. Right.
So total plus fruits dot price. No, that's just fruit.
Like that? Is there any concern about that approach? Do you understand that?
I don't think you need dot price, do you?
You don't need that price, so you want to
Oh,
what?
no. Yeah, no, leave it. It's fine.
It works. Yep.
If you remove the dollar sign in the case before, it wasn't much simpler just to add the values from before. So
Can
I
you
know
repeat?
where you get confused with
Can you say again,
the
please?
names and the brackets and stuff. don't you? Yeah, I've still not struggled with
Mm.
that big time. It's like
just to add the
parameters.
two values, if you remove the
What's the
price,
dollar sign doing?
so it was
Also, what was that?
Wow.
dollar
What's
sign.
the template this one? Where? What do you mean?
What the last line?
Because
The
It's-
previous example.
that whole last line. is
Yeah.
like
Previous
where you
example.
concatenate something.
What is
You know how they show you do a plus? The ES6 for
Okay, let's remove the that pound sign. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
Can we do
So concatenate set
what
together.
we've done before?
So you don't
Okay.
no
Cool,
longer
cool,
have
good
to
point.
really do plus and dot. You can just do a template. It's called, yeah.
So you're telling it to calculate something?
No, it's not to calculate anything. It could be just put sentences.
Okay, no,
together.
but that's a good point.
I think,
What will this return? That's a very good exercise. Look at the subtle change.
What's this? What have you changed?
So now the price is not a number; it's a string.
Okay, yeah.
You see the subtle difference? It's not a number; it's a string. So what will this return? Not a number. And any other opinion? An error.
The term 199 and 299.
199, 299, like a string concatenated. So you were right, rush. So the problem here is we are trying something like that. Hello world. Hello world. We are concatenating. So the plus operator will react differently depending on whether we are trying to add numbers or strings. In this particular case, we are trying to do something very funny, which is 199 plus 299, right? Which doesn't make any sense. So how can we fix this problem?
There's something you can. I can't remember what it is, but I've seen it. You can put something in front, a word in front of,
Just take away the
in front of one of those, and it changes it.
No, it's like you get the variable type, like string, or you can declare by the let.
Sorry, what?
So it's like a total is always just a number, not
Total? No, total is not a number. Total is a string. Oh well, it could be a number because we. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
No, it's but you can declare after the let.
After the let, yeah.
It's like
What? Here?
I don't know. It's after the between the let and the total. It's a number. It's a number. I think.
I'm not following you, Norbert.
It's like
No, that's not JavaScript valid.
okay.
No, no.
Can you
Yeah.
parse int?
No, that doesn't exist in JavaScript. That comes from Java or other languages. But in,
Is JavaScript parse int?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Converting strings into number, fill in the JavaScript parse int.
parse int. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. No. So you're asking to do that,
Yeah.
right? So what will this return now?
Now it will return with numbers. Alright.
It's not accurate. I mean, getting close is definitely calculating something, right? But so I'll tell you the problem now. The problem is that you are trying to convert a string, this is a string, into an integer. So an integer is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, whole numbers, yeah.
But if we do parse int of 4.23, it will return 4 because it will round the number to the closest integer, right? Right. So do you have something called parse float? It looks like, right? So we could convert strings into decimal number using parse float. Sorry? Correct.
Yeah, well, it would be simpler, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Correct. Or we can just use number, as Constantine is suggesting.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So this will be my favorite approach because number is very verbose. Now I'm going to ask you something, and I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm asking these questions in interviews for 10 years. Nobody has ever been able to answer the question. But I'm going to make you the answer. So if you have time, if you search, if you investigate, if you come back to me with the right answer, I'll invite you to a beer. So, technically speaking, let's ignore the decimals, right? Let's keep it simple. So this is 2 and this is 3.
Yeah.
For that particular case, we could use parse int 5, correct?
Yeah.
Or we could use number 5,
Yeah.
the same, right?
Okay.
Both are successful. Then my question is, when should we use number and when should we use parse int, assuming that we always have integers? So assuming both are equally valid, like this example. Think about that. Cool. So
What does parse int stand for?
parse int means parse, like evaluate that as an integer.
So,
As an integer, as a rounded number. So this is an integer, this is an integer. Right. Yeah. Cool. Any question?
Are we assuming we're only getting decimal
Say again?
with decimal numbers?
Yeah, with decimal numbers. Okay, let's go back to decimal numbers.
so
Yeah.
round it up.
So, yeah, obviously this is wrong, right? Because it's actually not rounding. Rounding is not the correct word. This is simply finding
All the round numbers.
not round. So the integer that can extract from this token. So this is not rounding. So what's the round number of 199?
2.
Correct. We can test that. Look, math.round.
But you can do like to the bottom or
To the bottom. How do you do the bottom? what we call the floor.
Yeah, floor. Yeah. And then seal is to
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So mat.floor will return what?
1,
Perfect. And what about mat.sail?
2.
Perfect. Maths. Most of the time we want to use mat.brown, but okay, in some cases we may be interested on these two methods here.
But when you do parse int, is it not just calculating the 1 and the 2 and giving you 3?
No. So when you do parse int, it's a very complex function, So it's super smart, sometimes too much. So when you do parse int, look. So what is that returning?
It will return 32.
Correct. So parse int is analyzing the string and is trying to figure out if there is any number within it, right? But that's kind of random. Why 32? I mean,
But if you put some numbers in the middle.
correct. Why did you put some numbers in the middle? Not a number. You see? So it's weird.
It will start with
The thing is, So and what if the other way around? If we had a number at the end, it doesn't work neither. So parsing starts looking at the string, and if at the beginning it finds a number, it keeps analyzing. As soon as it stops finding a number, it just ignores the rest of the token. It's very clever, but to me can be very confusing, right? Because why this returns 32, why this returns not a number, why this returns not a number. My suggestion is, generally speaking, don't use parse int.
Don't use parsing.
Don't use parsing. Use number, right? There is
On that parsing, can
Yep.
I just ask, we've got fruit and dot price.
Yep.
It says on here to always pass in 2 arguments all the time. And you put it as text and the actual number.
not
Is
so.
that because that's declared var as text?
Yeah, but that's
string?
different. So yeah, okay. I didn't want to mention that because you are answering the question that I asked before. So there is probably one scenario where we want to use parsing, where it's a good idea, but I'm not going to tell you when. That's something that I'll let you to investigate on Google afterwards. But unless you find that reason, please always use number.
But why did it return 3 in that situation?
Why? Okay, good question. You'll tell me why this returns 3. Why?
I thought it was just adding 1 and 2, but you said it was not.
So, right, let's go back.
So I think this is the first digit.
Yep. So what will this return?
Because
1.
the dot is
Correct, it's because of the dot. So if we say, okay, is this a number? Yes, 1 is a number.
Yeah.
Is dot? No, it's not. So if we say, okay, I don't care about anything else. 1. Similarly, and what will this return? 1, 2, or 12?
12.
12, correct. Is this a number? A valid, not a number, an integer. Is the one Is the one a valid integer? Yes. Okay, keep going. Is 2 a valid integer? Yes. Keep going. Is the dot a valid integer? No. Okay, I don't care about anything else. That's it. I'm done. Right?
So in that case, it's just taking a 1 and a 2.
Correct. It's taking a 1, and then
Not interested, take the 2. not
correct.
interested, and
But this is
then together.
it's very confusing, right? 3. Why 3? Yeah, it's confusing. That's why keep it simple. Use number, and you are sorted, right? More about numbers. What if we got that?
It would still be the same, it wouldn't make any difference.
No, it will add them all up.
No, because it's still going to the dot and going, well, that's not an integer. Bang, 1, 2.
So
If you use parsed int, I mean. If you do the number, then
Yeah.
fine.
okay, so what will this return?
3.
3. Cool. Yes. So the theory is correct. But what if we have the number? What will we return?
It will give you the last digits.
The last.
Like 1.999, whatever the digits are, plus 2.999. So it should,
He's saying it would add it up. Both, right?
yeah.
Correct. So it's working, right? But what if we think that this is not user friendly and we want just to limit the result
To 2 decimal places.
to 2 decimal places? Correct. Correct.
I'm sure there's something there that you can do
Yes,
that.
so you are right. You are completely right. So that's something that, for instance, at trading we had to do every minute. So whenever we had this kind of numbers, we want to just discard everything starting from the 3rd decimal. So we can do that. What we could do is
Another function or something?
no. If I'm correct, we can call now to fix it. And now, how many decimals do we
Oh,
want?
yeah, to fix to 2
Two.
decimal two.
Should be. Wait a minute. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah,
So,
'cause that's complete.
right. Right. Because yeah, correct. So to fix it is returning a string. You see? So what do we need to do now?
We need to put number again.
Correct. Exactly that. So this is returning a number, but just to fix the number of decimal places, then the number has been converted into a string. Pay attention to the quotes. You see? Because of that, we need again to wrap everything into a number.
All logic in it. It's just like think and then.
Yeah, but you look at that line, it looks complicated. But if you
Break
break it down. Correct. So look, we got the price. What do we know about the price? We know that first of all, it's a string. The first thing we want to do is to convert it into a number. Fair enough. We got the number. But hey, wait a minute. That number is huge, right? So please give me the first 2 decimal places. We got the decimal places. But wait a minute. By doing that, my number has been again converted into a string. So finally, revert that by converting it again into a number. That's it.
I don't understand why is there
2 numbers.
no 2 fix it.
No, because I wanted to keep just 2 decimal places. I wanted to simplify my calculation, right? Obviously, you can keep 3. Look at the difference, right? You see? It depends how many decimals you want to display. I mean, if I look at that code, I may complain because I may take like a couple of minutes to understand that line. So what I will suggest is to refactor it a bit. I will say like,
Yeah, so how would you do that?
so I will add a variable here and probably I would say fix price string equals so I will personally do something like that. Why? Because then my intentions are clear. I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. So here I know that whatever happens here, what I don't know what's that, but I'm going to get a price as a string. I know that. And then, as I know this is a string, it becomes immediate, it becomes trivial to understand that I want to transform that string into a number. That's exactly the same. Right? Any question?
And then the total line you've got total equals total plus number.
Total plus number? What do you mean?
So why do you need 2 totals?
Why do you need 2 totals? No, you don't need 2 totals. So what we are doing here is, what's the value of total? Let's add a breakpoint.
0.
Correct. Let's have a look. So in here, what's the value of total? Total. So here we are saying this is a very common structure in JavaScript. A, the new total will be whatever it was before. So what was it before? Correct. Plus 199 as a number. Okay, so next time we say, hey, the new total,
It's 199.
correct, is 199 plus the new price, right? Do you know any shorthand of this line? Can we make this line shorter?
You could go total plus equals.
Exactly. That's exactly the same. It's just a utility that JavaScript offers to make your lines more readable. And it still works, right? Cool. So,
You got to just do loads of them similar to that, and then it will just like.
yep.
Because it's more getting your head around how it looks as opposed to obviously you've got to understand what's going on in it, but you think you get confused as like.
Yep.
So you have to get used to all the different variables and functions.
Yep.
Because there must be lots.
It's just pretty much that. There's one more. It's the last one, and we are done for today. I promise. So we've talked about for, we talked about map, we've talked about for each, and I will talk about reduce. So reduce is the most powerful way to iterate over arrays. It could be mind-blowing, but it's super important in the long term.
So if you was to learn reduce, you should just stick to that one all the time.
No. So reduce is not necessarily better. So depending on what you need to do, we'll use one or the other. I'll give you an example. So whenever we want to loop over an array and then calculate something, like here, because we want to iterate over an array and we want to extract the total, right? Reduce will be very popular. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to do the same using reduce. So with reduce, I'll comment this out just for reference. So with reduce, we can do something like that. Fruits dot reduce. And here's the mind-blowing thing. So in here, it receives two arguments. An accumulator, and I'll show you in a second what's that, and then the current fruit. So based on that, so what's the accumulator? The accumulator is a variable that we are internally hosting here. We can initialize the variable, same thing we did with total, here. So we want to set that the accumulator, which is, let's rename it to total if you want, right? Total starts at 0, right? So then, here we can return total plus fruit dot price, right? And that's it. That's the same thing. So reduce will return eventually the total. And because of that, we can create a variable here called, rename it, I'll explain that in a second. Yeah, obviously, we need to simplify that if we want to see something, but that's it. So, yep, and the number, yeah, tell me.
So the two arguments you put in,
Yeah.
they're arguments, aren't they? So always.
Yeah. So reduce receives two arguments. It's slightly different. The structure is different. So the first argument is the internal variable that we have initialized here, 0. So whatever you return here will be the next total, the next variable here. Let's add a breakpoint to fully understand that. So the first time, what's the value of total? Don't look at the right hand side. Well, it's hard. It's 0. Why is 0?
Because you've initialized with a 0 there.
Correct, exactly, because you have initialized it here, 0. And then, before going to the next iteration, what will be the value of total the next time we stop here?
199 was it? 199.
Correct.
Yeah, 199.
Correct. So next time, the value of total will be whatever we return here. That will be 0
199.
plus 199. Correct. Look at that. You see? The second argument, as you may expect, reference to each element of the array. So this will run as many times as elements the array has. So what will be the value of total on the second iteration? 299. I disagree. It won't be 299.
It would have added the 199. to
Correct,
it.
correct. The second time will return 199 plus 299. It will be 4 whatever. And as there are no more iterations, it will stop here and it will return to the left whatever the final value of total is.
Can you initialize
Yep.
total in a different way?
Yeah. How? So, okay. So if this is returning 498, let me finish that iteration. If I do that, I change from 0 to 1. What will be that value?
Oh, it will start at 1.
Second price.
290.
No, before it was 498. Now it changed from 0 to 1. What will be the new value?
1.
1.
It hasn't gone through. What you said, it's done one loop already.
No, not yet.
All
So
right.
I'm going to repeat the same exercise. So, okay, let's start again. If we initialize it total at 0,
It's 0.
the total here is 498.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. We know that. Right. So let's... Exactly. So let's do the same exercise, changing the initial value. So then, what will be the total here?
Yeah, 598.
598. Correct. What?
No, why it's actually I'm confused here. This number is 0, and when you usually when you want 1 plus 1 is 1 plus 1 is 2. But
Yeah.
there is no plus. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah, there is plus here. You are calculating the previous price, which is the subtotal, plus the new price. And this will be passed to the next iteration.
Say again.
So it's a reducer kind of loop method.
Yeah, definitely. Reduce is a loop method because we're looping over the fruits array. It's a loop method, right? It's a different way.
What does actual reduce stand for?
Reduce means,
Just to reduce.
To
how many
reduce.
what the code or something.
yeah. Again, I'm not expecting you to use that straight away tomorrow. I'm not expecting. But keep an eye on it because the more senior you are, the more you'll trust it because it's very powerful. It's so flexible. It gives you so many possibilities that is great. For now, I will be happy if you understand for it.
If you lose this,
If you lose that,
by default is 0 anyways. Syntax.
that's a good question. Look, we have removed the initial value.
Yeah.
So then Constantine said that the default is 0 by default, right? I'll tell you something. I have no idea if that's true or not. It's not that. Sorry? Null. I don't know. I mean, let's adjust a breakpoint and see what happens, right? So
But surely it must be best practice.
it
to
could be,
actually initialize.
yeah, it could be 0. So I'm okay with that. Look, total, right? It's something completely. It's nothing. So that's weird. That doesn't make any sense. Nah. If you don't pass any values, you're doing something dodgy. So please don't do that.
No,
Just
but it's just probably a different way to write. If you I think,
it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. So add just initial value. I mean, it makes your code more readable because you are explicitly.
because you use color braces. Probably if you don't use color braces, then
That's the same thing. No, that's the same thing. So yeah,
To use curly braces.
there's no difference.
you just you chose.
What?
If you just
Yeah.
so yeah, if you
Remove the curly brackets.
yes,
So you just want to do that. Like that. It's going to return the same. So I can't believe it's any difference. I mean, this is going to return something very weird. You see? Exactly. So no. I mean, just my suggestion is just always initialize the value, because otherwise, to me it sounds completely random. It doesn't look correct to me. Questions? No? Yeah.
So
Fine.
the colours, do they help you understand what each value is? What it is?
The colors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's blue, it's a variable.
Yeah, definitely. So DevTools, you can see that variables in DevTools are blue. Then methods and properties are this kind of yellow. Strings are orange. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you go to Visual Studio, the color schema may be slightly different.
Yeah, because you can pick different.
Exactly. There is no standard about coloring, but it's good because if I remove the colors, it will be much harder to read this code for sure. Any question? No? No? Cool. So yeah, that was it for today, guys. I'll share the video now on Slack. Thank you.
Cheers.